Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are looking directly at what employers are actually saying right now about the transition from the classroom to the professional world. We're going to bridge that gap between the habits you build as a student and the very real, sometimes surprising expectations waiting for you in the workplace. If you're a student preparing to launch your career, pay attention, because this is exactly the blueprint you need.
Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1, the Gen Z workplace gap. This is all about the real-world feedback hiring managers are giving us today.
65%. Think about that number for a second. According to recent employer surveys, a whopping 65% of Gen Z workers find workplace conversations difficult. That is a massive hurdle. It literally means a majority of young professionals are stepping into office environments and really struggling with basic interpersonal communication. They're relying heavily on casual messaging instead of just having formal, face-to-face dialogue.
So, how do we fix it? Let's hit Section 2, 4 core skill shifts. We're going to do a rapid-fire sprint through the mindset shifts you absolutely need to close this gap.
It's wild when you notice the stark contrast between your current environment and your future one. In school, it's super common to just wait for a teacher to provide step-by-step scaffolds, or you might shoot a quick casual text to a classmate. But the workplace? It demands independent troubleshooting and channel adaptability. You have to know exactly when a properly formatted email is required instead of just firing off a casual DM. And hey, instead of getting defensive over a bad grade, employers fully expect iterative improvement based on constructive criticism.
To put it simply, managers want you to stop waiting for answers. You've got to master this troubleshooting requirement before you escalate an issue. It's a three-step process. First, actually try to solve it using the resources you have. Second, document exactly what you tried. And third, if you're still stuck, ask a highly specific question. Don't just walk up and say, "I'm stuck."
And this brilliantly illustrates what we're talking about here. Feedback resilience is such a vital, missing skill right now that billion-dollar companies like PwC are literally creating specialized training just for their Gen Z hires. In the professional world, feedback is not an attack on your character. It's just a fundamental tool for adapting and improving your work.
All right, let's take a breath and really slow the pace down for Section 3, presence and professional etiquette. These are the absolute basics of showing up. We need to talk about this in depth because this is where hiring managers are getting the most frustrated. Before you can even show off those amazing technical skills you learned in school, you have to master professional presence. And we aren't just talking about dressing appropriately for mock interviews or making basic eye contact, though those are crucial. We are really talking about your attention. Think about it. When you sit in a lecture scrolling on your phone or multitasking across a dozen laptop tabs, you don't realize it, but you are actively building a habit of disengagement. And employers are noticing this distinct lack of presence in meetings. They're seeing candidates failing to lock in during face-to-face engagements. You've got to treat your college classroom as your rehearsal space. Putting your phone away and closing unnecessary tabs in class is the exact practice you need to maintain focus in a high-stakes client meeting later. A lack of punctuality or just failing to look someone in the eye, it signals a lack of respect and reliability. Before an employer is going to trust you with a multi-million-dollar account, they absolutely need to trust that you can manage your attention in the room.
Which brings us to our final big concept. Section 4, consequence awareness and demeanor. This is all about developing a true professional mindset.
Here is the ultimate mindset shift, consequence awareness. You have to understand how your absence or your punctuality directly impacts others rather than just yourself. Listen, in a college class, if you skip a lecture or you stroll in 10 minutes late, the person who suffers the most is usually just you, right? You might miss some notes, maybe get a lower grade. But in the workplace, your actions are part of a larger ecosystem. You have to shift your entire mindset from how my lateness affects me to how my lateness impacts the entire team. Because out there in the professional world, your delay creates a really costly bottleneck for everyone else.
Every single action creates a ripple effect. An unplanned absence doesn't just mean you missed a day, it actively disrupts collaborative group work and stalls the momentum of a whole project. Poor calendar management, that forces managers to repeat instructions, which is incredibly frustrating and drains company time and resources. Even something that seems as simple as failing to maintain a professional demeanor, like looking distracted, looking at your phone, or wearing inappropriate attire, can immediately fail a presentation and just destroy your team's credibility in front of a client. You are no longer being graded in a vacuum. Every choice you make ripples outward to your colleagues.
So that brings us to the ultimate question. Are your current classroom habits costing you your future career? Because the transition to the professional world doesn't just magically happen on graduation day. It happens the exact moment you decide to take ownership of your behaviors.
Treat your very next class not just as another boring lecture, but as a vital career rehearsal. Put the phone away, close those extra laptop tabs, show up on time, make eye contact, ask specific questions, and start building the professional you want to become today.